My life started off normal. Well, except for one tiny thing. I was born on Friday the 13th. A whole bad luck prophecy on my head from day one. Mom said the moment I entered this world, she screamed so loud the whole hospital shook. And then, a lightning bolt split the sky. The entire hospital blacked out, and doctors and nurses ran around like a headless parade. And me? I made my grand entrance, crying in total darkness. That's how my parents named me Lila, which means mystical night or dark beauty. Sounds cool, right? But honestly, kinda cursed. My parents adored me, but let's be real, bad luck stuck to me like glue. Like today, first day back to school after break. I made sure to be 10 minutes early for the bus so I wouldn't be late. Then I saw an old lady struggling to cross the street, lugging a bag of apples. Obviously, I ran over to help her, just as my bus was pulling up. And then, the bag tore apart. Apples went rolling everywhere. By the time I gathered them all, vroom, bus gone. No biggie, I'd just grab a public bike. Lucky me, there was one left. Just as I reached for it, a middle-aged guy came sprinting toward me, like he was on some world-saving mission.
Kid, please, let me have this bike. I'm about to be late for a super important interview.
I sighed and let him have it. Fine, running it is. I barely took 2 steps when some kid on a skateboard came flying at me like a freaking missile. Panicked, I dodged to the side and splash! Fell straight into an open sewer hole. By the time I dragged myself to school, I was bruised, drenched, and covered in something I did not want to think about. And I missed English class. Thank goodness for Ava, my cousin, and literal 4-leaf clover. She sprinted over, handed me fresh clothes, and shoved me into the bathroom. I groaned while scrubbing myself clean. Dude, I need to see a fortune teller. Maybe they can, uncurse me. What? No way! Luck is all about mindset. Think about it. You helped 2 people today. That's gotta mean something. Trust me. She had a point. Feeling lighter, I grabbed my Capri Sun, took a big sip, and skipped off to class. But right then, a group of students carrying huge cardboard boxes appeared out of nowhere. I brake-checked so hard that I fell backwards, right into the arms of the cutest guy from my class, Peter. OMG, was this it? My good luck moment? Nope, because in that exact moment, my Capri Sun exploded, straight onto Peter's head. Juice is dripping all over him. Oh, biscuits, I'm so sorry. I grabbed napkins and started dabbing his hair. Then I tried rubbing it off his shirt when, rip! And suddenly, there was bare chest Peter, skin as smooth as a baby, muscles toned. Everyone around basically had a nosebleed on the spot.
Ah! This is not happening!
I wanted the earth to swallow me whole. Why does fate always slap me the second I think I've won? Hey, you! That was way out of line. Back off of Peter. Hey, you're listening? What a weirdo. By the end of the day, I dragged myself home spiritually shattered. Then Ava's car slid to a stop right in front of me. Get in the car, loser! We're going shopping! I just shook my head. Let me guess. Peter drama? Heard it all. Just buy him a new shirt and call it a day. Actually, solid plan. I hopped in and told her to floor it to the mall. As we were waiting at the red light, I saw him, the skateboard menace who sent me into the sewer earlier. Hey! You little gremlin! The kid panicked, lost control, and face planted. His mom immediately ran over and started scolding the absolute soul out of him. See? Karma always delivers. Keep your vibes positive and luck will come. If not today, then tomorrow. Staying positive all the time? Not easy. But what about you guys? Drop a comment below about your worst bad luck story and how you survived it. I stood frozen in the middle of hundreds of shirts, eyes darting like a bobblehead. Just pick one already. They all look fine. I can't. Look, this one's trendy, but the fabric's trash. What if I, rip it off again? And this one's nice, but it's fire truck red. Peter would look like a whole stoplight.
You're right. That one is an absolute fashion disaster.
Oh, it's you! Turns out because I let him take the bike, he made it to his interview on time and landed the job.
So, shopping for your boyfriend? Let me help. I've got a son around your age. I know what they like.
The man's son peeked out to say hi. The second Ava saw him, her eyes lit up like high beams, sparks flying everywhere. Final shopping results. I got a shirt, and Ava got a whole new boyfriend. I practically skipped to school, clutching the neatly folded shirt with a heartfelt letter tucked inside, sliding it into Peter's locker. I ran off to a corner, fingers crossed, praying to every celestial being for a good reaction. Peter opened his locker. Yes, pick it up. Read my letter. But the letter fell out straight into the bottom of the locker. My letter, packed with all my heart, all my feelings, and all the awkwardly desperate attempts to win over my crush. Right then, Chelsea appeared, practically glued to Peter's side like a limited edition accessory. Oh, babe, where'd you get this grandpa-looking shirt? Don't tell me it's some loser secret admirer.
Probably just from a friend.
Nuh-uh. You need to compensate your real girlfriend properly. Girlfriend? It felt like a slap to the face, a punch to the gut, and a drop kick to my dignity all at once. I wanted to scream, cry, go full melodrama heroine mode. But no. Be cool, Lila. I just needed to get my letter back and destroy it. I dragged myself through the day like a soulless zombie. To make it worse, the PE teacher made us run laps after laps. Nope, not today. I hid behind a tree, gasping for air, then pulled out my phone to doom scroll away my misery. Suddenly, an acorn fell down, smacked my hand, and my phone slipped straight into a sewer grate. I frantically grabbed the stick, poking around while muttering curses at my luck. Suddenly, I heard someone talking. Curious, I peeked through the bushes and saw Chelsea and the student council president. Chelsea was shoving a wad of cash into her hands. I'm not taking this. Stop doing shady stuff, Chelsea. Oh, please, it's just a tiny favor. Just let me have the top spot on the leaderboard, that's it. Holy mother of burn book. This girl was literally buying her way to the top. Suddenly, a bee flew right at my face and stung me right on the nose. I covered my mouth, swallowed the earth-shattering scream back down my throat, and then bolted right out of there. If Chelsea knew I was eavesdropping, she'd probably have me for dinner. Everything's been a mess lately. As I walked into the hallway, it suddenly hit me. My phone! Ugh! Panicked, I spun around to rush back, only to crash straight into someone.
Whoa, Leela, where are you running off to?
Oh, it was Peter, and he was wearing the shirt I gave him. I squealed, completely forgetting what I was doing, and just followed him into the elevator. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out. The elevator came to a screeching halt. We both froze. Wait, what's going on? Don't tell me we're stuck in here!
Hold on, let me press the emergency button. They'll be here soon. Do you have your phone, Lila?
Peter turned to see me curled up in a corner, breathing heavily.
Leela, are you okay?
No, definitely not. This small, cramped space. I can't breathe.
What can I do for you? Should I sing?
I nodded quickly. Peter gently wrapped his arm around me and began to hum.
I wanna hold you just for a while and die with a smile.
Peter!
Oopsie. But hey, at least you're not panicking anymore, right?
Yeah, I guess. The atmosphere suddenly went awkward.
By the way, thanks. I really like the shirt.
Huh? How did he know it was from me?
There was a letter too, right? But when I went back for it, it was gone.
Letter? What letter? Never heard of it.
Still pretending, huh?
Anyway, aren't you worried your control freak of a girlfriend might flip out?
Why? I can wear whatever I want. Chelsea's not all bad. She may seem tough, but she's actually really kind. She helped me out a lot when my little sister was in the hospital.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so dating her felt like the right thing to do.
My heart dropped to the floor. What if he found out the real Chelsea? That would definitely crush him. Just then, a knock echoed from outside the elevator.
Rescue team here. Hang tight. We're almost done fixing the issue.
Holy mac and cheese, we're saved! Both of us jumped in excitement, wrapping our arms around each other. But in that exact moment, the elevator shook violently, then suddenly dropped. I clung tightly to Peter as everything around me was ringing.
It's okay, Leela. It stopped. You're safe. I got you.
I peeked open my eyes. The elevator doors were pried open, light pouring in. Peter was still holding me, comforting me gently. Excuse me? What exactly is going on here?
Chelsea, we were just...
I warned you once already. Stay away from my boyfriend.
Okay, you're way out of line, Chelsea. We were literally stuck in an elevator, and this is your reaction? Just come with me. Sorry, Leela. We'll talk later.
I stood frozen, watching Peter sweeping the whirlwind called Chelsea away. Next morning, the moment I stepped into school, something felt off. People were staring and whispering. Wait, did I forget to brush my teeth? Or, oh no, did I forget deodorant? Then Ava yanked me aside. Oh, so they were talking about Peter and Chelsea. What's going on? Before she could answer, the school's announcement screen suddenly flashed on. Good morning, Student Council President here. I want to address the scandal regarding an outrageous attempt at bribery for the top spot on the school leaderboard. This behavior is completely unacceptable. And with that, Chelsea, please report to the principal's office to receive your well-deserved punishment. The entire school exploded. Chelsea was getting dragged left and right. She turned pale, frozen for a second, then immediately spun around and ran off. And Peter? He just stood there, stunned, unable to process what had just happened. I handed him a soda to calm him down a bit. He crushed the can in one go.
I'm such an idiot. How did I not see what kind of person she really was?
Well, they say love makes you blind, right?
Not really. I should have never accepted her confession in the first place. Truth is, I only saw her as a friend. Later on, I realized I've actually liked someone else all along.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a clumsy girl, but incredibly kind. I saw her on my way to school, helping an old lady, and she missed the bus because of it. I was gonna talk to her, but she went ahead and ripped my shirt. But lucky me, she got me a new one. I was so happy.
Okay, that's enough. I can't take it anymore. Peter just chuckled, eyes twinkling, completely amused. And somehow I found myself laughing too. Who would have thought that all the bad luck I went through would lead to something truly amazing in the end?
I slowly opened my eyes and Ethan's ridiculously handsome face was right there. Was I dreaming? I couldn't help but stare as his soft smile inched closer. Without thinking, my lips puckered up.
Whoa, hold up. There's a spider on your head.
That snapped me back to reality. Holy moly! I almost kissed Ethan! What the heck? What are you even doing here? In a total panic, I jumped out of bed only to feel something crawling on my leg. Ah!
Sophie, watch out!
Too late. I tripped over a cable and crashed to the floor. Jeez Louise, this was the worst day ever. Hey there, I'm Sophia Carter, 16 years old and top of my class at Alliance Cindy and Bill Simon Technology High School. I've worked my tail off since I was a kid, and for years, I've raked in our school's Academic Excellence Award. But little did I know, something was about to shake things up and nearly cost me that title. Spoiler alert, it turned out kinda sweet. It all kicked off when my homeroom teacher, Mr. John, called me to his office. To my surprise, Ethan, the basketball team captain, was already there. He greeted me with a smile so bright it made my heart race. Not that I'd ever let it show. Ethan, my one and only crush, the charming athletic team captain. I gave him a quick nod, pretending I was totally unbothered.
Sophie, this October, the school's organizing a week-long school trip to Canada. With your stellar record, we've picked you as the student leader.
Don't worry, Mr. John. I've got this.
You'll be working with Ethan. He's got a great record too.
I felt my heart skip a beat but quickly pulled myself together. Work with my crush and not let him notice my feelings? Challenge accepted.
Looks like we'll be rooming together. Can't wait to work with you.
Wait, what? My brain froze. Share a room with Ethan for a whole week?
Yup, it's tradition. You'll manage the group together and prep for the bonfire party.
Just then, Melia stormed in, her squad trailing behind. Melia, the cheer captain and queen bee of our school. Gorgeous, popular, and always surrounded by guys. Not that I cared. I knew my strengths. Mr. John, I object to Sophie leading the school trip. Why not? My record speaks for itself. You're not exactly a team player. How are you supposed to bond with everyone? You'll just slow Ethan down. Her posse chimed in, and Mr. John looked thoughtful. I clenched my fist, partly because Melia wasn't entirely wrong. But mostly, I dreaded Ethan finding out how I felt. I stood there, fuming silently, unsure what to say.
This trip needs someone who knows their stuff. Biology, history, geography. I believe Sophie's the best choice.
Surprised, I looked up. Ethan met my gaze with a playful smile. Oh, great! Now I liked him even more. The first few days of our school trip passed peacefully, though not without effort on my part. That's right. Ethan and I were sharing a room. It was a cozy lodge in the middle of the woods, and while the room was spacious with 2 beds, the whole sharing a space with my crush thing was nerve-wracking. Thankfully, Ethan was a total gentleman. He kept the room spotless, made himself scarce whenever I showered, and never once appeared looking sloppy or, heaven forbid, shirtless. Still, I did everything to keep my distance. The moment we returned to the room, I dive under the covers, pretending Ethan wasn't there. Anytime he tried to strike up a conversation, I brushed him off with a cold shoulder. I could see the confusion and hurt in his eyes, but what could I do? I know I was being rude, but the closer I got to Ethan, the more I feared he'd see through me. And honestly, why would a guy like him, a guy with a whole fan club of gorgeous girls, ever pick me? I didn't want to face rejection. I'll handle the bonfire night prep. You focus on the team building activities.
Why split up? We could do it together.
I'm used to working alone. While I coordinated with a local crew to set up the stage and firewood for the bonfire night, Ethan was busy uniting our classmates with games and laughter. Suddenly, as if sensing my gaze, Ethan turned and caught my eye. Before I could react, he was running over and grabbing my hand.
I've short a teammate for the canoe race. You're in.
No, Before I could finish, Ethan had already pulled me into the canoe. While I fumbled with a paddle, Ethan powered us to victory. What followed was a whirlwind. Tent building, learning knots, and all sorts of scout skills. By the time I snapped out of it, our hands were tangled together in a human knot game. Our bodies closer than ever. I only regained my senses during the scavenger hunt. My knowledge finally came in handy as I cracked codes, identified plants and animals, and led the group to the hidden treasure.
Honestly, I thought you hated me with how cold you've been. But you're actually pretty cool.
I laughed at his comment. Those games had naturally closed the gap between us. Even if Ethan didn't like me, he was shaping up to be an amazing friend. Unbeknownst to me, not everyone was thrilled. Melia scowled, then smirked wickedly. During the trust fall game, things got dicey. Everything went smoothly until it was my turn. I closed my eyes, trusting my classmates to catch me. That's when Melia pulled back her hands.
Careful!
Before my mind could catch up, my body had already hit the ground. Huh? The expected pain never came. Once I gathered my thoughts, I realized Ethan and I had fallen on top of each other. Behind us, Melia was growling something angrily, but her words didn't register. My focus was on Ethan, and to my surprise, he was staring right back at me. The awkward tension lingered for the rest of the trip. I buried myself in prepping for the bonfire night, but I couldn't help sneaking glances at Ethan. And every time, he'd catch my eye and flash that disarming smile. My heart wanted to believe he liked me, but my head dismissed it as him being his usual charming self. Everything changed on the morning of day 6. With just 1 day left on the trip, I woke up groggily to find Ethan's face inches from mine. Was I dreaming? If so, I wouldn't mind a kiss. Thank goodness for that cursed Black Widow spider that yanked me back to reality. For the second time that week, I tripped over a cable and went flying. But just like before, I didn't hit the ground. I opened my eyes to find Ethan holding me steady, his arm wrapped firmly around my waist.
Gotcha this time.
He caught me and my racing heart. My cheeks burned, and to my surprise, Ethan's face was just as flushed. His eyes lingered on mine, filled with something deeper. Could it be? The rest of the day, we stuck close, our hands brushing every now and then. We tried to play it cool, but the tension was palpable. Across the clearing, Melia stomped in frustration, glaring at me. I shot her a triumphant look, still bitter about her earlier stunt. She huffed and stormed off, tossing me a sneaky grin that made my stomach churn.
Oh no! The bonfire area! What happened?
Mr. John's shout shattered the quiet night. We all rushed out of the lodge, only to find the campfire stage completely wrecked. The carefully stacked logs, prepped for days, were soaked and smashed to pieces. I stood there, frozen, watching the result of over 6 days of hard work reduced to nothing.
Sophie, explain this.
Everyone turned to me, their eyes filled with suspicion. But what could I say? I didn't even know what had happened. Things got worse as my classmates piled on complaints. I'm not sure. Don't even try to cover it up. You insisted on working alone, keeping Ethan out. Who knows what someone so secretive might be plotting? Got any proof of that accusation? Maybe she hired some shady contractors and didn't pay them, so they trashed the place in revenge. I saw a worker lurking around earlier. Her words sparked murmurs among the crowd. Melia shot me a triumphant grin. I tried to defend myself, but my words fell flat. It was clear my isolated nature carried less weight than Melia's popularity.
I'm sorry, Sophie. If you don't fix this by tomorrow, I'll have to revoke your Academic Excellence Award for the year. But you can ask for help. I'm sure Ethan and your classmates would be willing.
I glanced at Ethan, desperate for support. But to my dismay, he was looking at Melia. After a moment of thought, he followed her, not even sparing me a glance. Left alone under the weight of judgmental stares, I felt more hopeless than ever. Ethan didn't return to our room that night. Alone in the space we'd shared, I cried myself to sleep. The next morning, I got up early and went back to the ruined stage. No one was around, and that was fine. I'd do this on my own. As I struggled with the oversized curtain, Ethan showed up with a group of classmates.
Need a hand?
No, I can do it myself.
We all know you didn't do this. Don't push yourself alone. Let me help.
His words felt more like mockery than comfort. I ignored him, yanked the curtain down, and stormed past him without a word. Ethan reached out to stop me, but before he could speak, my frustration boiled over. When I needed you most, you left. And now you bring everyone here to humiliate me? What's the point? Ethan's face fell, hurt flashing in his eyes.
I just wanted to help. I'm sorry if I made things worse. This might be useful.
Then he walked away. The others, sensing the tension, quickly dispersed. Left alone, I unfolded the paper. It was a detailed plan to restore Bonfire Night in one day, with the help from the entire school. Ethan must have worked all night on this, rallying everyone's support. Heart racing, I sprinted after him, grabbing his hand. What followed was a chaotic mix of apologies and tearful words. These past days have been so fun, working with everyone. I'm sorry, Ethan. Please help me. I really need you. Ethan cut me off with a gentle kiss on my forehead. Then, with a confident grin, he rallied the group to start rebuilding. I stood there, stunned. Did that just happen? Shaking off my shock, I hurried to join him as we worked side by side to bring the event back to life. We were covered in dirt and sweat, but beaming with pride as we gathered around the roaring bonfire, soaking in the moment. Oh, and the culprit? It wasn't until later that Ethan confessed he had his suspicions. He noticed paint and mud stains on Melia's shoes and decided to confront her, then reported everything to the head teacher. Now, Melia's stuck writing out the school rules 100 times as punishment for what she did. Looking back, I almost blamed Ethan for it all. Thank goodness I didn't. Now, as we stood by the fire, Ethan and I exchanged a glance. We were both a mess after the day's chaos, but under the soft glow of the flames, he looked more radiant and kind than ever. I like you. Ethan smiled at my confession. He stepped closer, leaned in, and kissed me.
During break time in class, while I was happily chatting with my friends, Marina, the new transfer student, was sitting alone in the corner. Hey, Marina seems so unfriendly, right? And arrogant, too. I greeted her, but she ignored me. Hey, Sophie, the ambassador of goodwill. Go talk to the new kid. No prob. Watch this. I grabbed a bag of snacks and quickly headed over to the corner of the room. Hi, you're Marina, right? Welcome to the new school. Want some snacks? Oh, this pen is as cute as you. Did you buy? Without a word, she snatched the pen from my hand and stabbed it right into the snack bag. Don't touch my stuff. I held my breath, my face frozen while my friends burst out laughing. My image as a goodwill ambassador was shattered. Little did I know that from this moment on, she officially became my arch nemesis. Hi, I'm Sophie from Arizona. Please like and subscribe to MDA. I was born into a billionaire family. I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. My dad owns a chain of 5-star hotels, and my mom's a stock market mogul. I grew up in a massive mansion with a squad of servants ready to cater to my every whim. In short, I'm super rich. On the other hand, I'm outgoing and easy to get along with. so I was always confident that people would love me at first sight. Marina wasn't like that. From the start, she was incredibly annoying and seemed to want to challenge me. We took turns being at the top of the class rankings after each exam. I signed up for the school uniform design contest, and she had to sign up too. I chose a tonkatsu for lunch, and she had to grab the last piece. I was here first. Who cares? I want it, so it's mine. Don't be ridiculous. There's so many other dishes. I don't like the other dishes. So what? We tugged back and forth, and Marina pushed me hard, causing me to bump into the student behind me, and then the one behind them. Eventually, the whole line of students fell over like dominoes, with soup and potatoes flying everywhere. A complete mess. We couldn't avoid a warning from the principal. Things escalated when I started dating. I met my boyfriend Dalton at an art club meeting, which Marina desperately tried to join. Dalton was super popular for his handsome looks and gentlemanly manners. Every girl in the world would be crazy about a guy like him, and Dalton was crazy about me. Our love grew stronger and we became an item at school. One evening, I went to Dalton's house to prepare a surprise birthday party for him. But the one who got surprised was me. There, Marina was snuggled up in the arms of my boyfriend. Without a word, I grabbed her hair and pulled her into an intense catfight. Dalton also got a few bruises trying to separate us. Marina, what's your problem? Why do you always have to stick your nose into my life? To warn you to open your eyes and see who he really is. You're such a blind fool. It's none of your business. Well, technically, you're the one who stuck your nose into my life first. That was the last time I spoke to either of them. I broke up with Dalton, and Marina suddenly transferred schools a few days later without any explanation. And from then on, I never heard from her again. No more enemies, no more drama, no more rivalry. I had to admit, life got a bit boring, but gradually, the story about Marina faded away. I graduated from college and became a fashion designer, running my own brand. One day when I came home, I was shocked to see that the person arranging my shoes was Marina? Yes, miss. Her creepy smile gave me a bad feeling. My parents later introduced Marina as the new maid in our house. After years of being out of each other's lives, I didn't expect to reunite with my enemy in this situation. Of course, I didn't want to live under the same roof as her. Once I spread glitter and soap all over the house, making her clean up for 5 straight days. Another time, I replaced the chestnuts on the plate with bugs before Marina could serve them, causing her to get scolded. And I can't forget the time I made her change my foot bath water 18 times until the temperature and herbal scent were perfect. It was so satisfying. But Marina didn't take it lying down. She poured cooking oil into my shoes, dumped a bunch of ants into my makeup bag, and even intentionally added extra salt to make my soup as salty as the sea. Hey, Marina, let's be straight. What's your deal? What do you mean, miss? I don't understand. Don't give me that fake, innocent look. I haven't forgotten what happened between us. You must be here with some ulterior motive. I'm here to work and earn money. That's my motive. Satisfied? And don't bother me, or I won't hesitate to bother you back. Darn it! I wanted to kick her out of my house right then and there. Unlike me, my parents adored Marina, especially after learning she was my old classmate. To them, what happened between us back then was just childish squabbles. The worst part was when my parents asked me to help Marina get involved in the design for my fashion brand. No way! Why should I help her? Come on, Sophie. Helping others is the right thing to do. Besides, Marina has real talent. You should check out her designs. I said no, and I meant it!
Sophie, do you have any idea how much Marina has been through? She deserves a chance to pursue her dreams.
Why should I care? It's my brand, and I get to choose who I collaborate with.
Unbelievable! You're so selfish, Sophie!
I stormed off to my room. Who wants to work with their enemy anyway? How am I wrong? A few days later, luck smiled upon me when an incredible partnership offer came from a huge fashion brand. It was a global project, and designing the best collection ever was driving me crazy with pressure. And at that moment, my creative brain decided to go on strike. I spent the whole day without coming up with a single good design, so I decided to take a walk around the garden for inspiration. That's when I saw Marina diligently sketching at the tea table. My parents are out today, so no need to put on the maid act. What's that? One of my designs? I thought you didn't care. It looked pretty decent. I swallowed my pride and asked Marina about her design. Her skills were actually quite impressive. talking to Marina to give me tons of new design ideas, and I realized it was the first time we had a decent conversation. Gradually, we became collaborators. It was a bit embarrassing, but I had to admit we made a perfect team. I mean, just for the design project. With Marina's help, the collection design was complete on time for the pitching day. Awesome! I believe our collection will be chosen. Our collection? Yeah, of course. What? No, it's just, I thought you hated me and that we'd never be a team like this. Yeah, if I didn't hate you, I wouldn't know who to hate. But I'm fair. You deserve the credit. Marina smiled at me for the first time. It seemed our relationship had turned a new page. On the pitching day for the fashion project, I lent Marina one of my fancy outfits. Because, of course, I couldn't introduce a collaborator dressed like a maid. We did each other's hair and makeup and stepped out like true businesswomen. But fate loves to play tricks. One of the project investors was my ex-boyfriend, Dalton. After years apart, my heart still skipped a beat when I saw him. It seemed the same for Dalton. Throughout the session, his eyes were glued to me. And the strangest thing was that Marina, the troublemaker from before, was here too. The pitching went smoothly. The big brand director and investors loved our new collection. Dalton then approached me and gave me a few polite compliments. It wouldn't have been notable if he hadn't then asked me out to dinner. Sorry,
Don't say no just yet, Sophie. I couldn't hide my feelings when I saw you again, and I know you felt the same. After all these years, don't we deserve another chance?
Dalton's eyes and smile still made me weak. I had never experienced such an intense internal struggle. Right then, Marina came up with a cup of coffee and splashed it in Dalton's face. Or give her another chance to get away from a jerk like you forever? How about that?
What the? Wait a second. Marina? What are you doing here?
I quickly dragged Marina away before she could unload more on Dalton. What's your problem, Marina? Don't go out with that jerk, Sophie. He's not as good as he looks. And who are you to tell me what to do or not to do? Sophie, Know your place, Marina. Don't think just because of this we're suddenly friends and you can do whatever you want. I left Marina standing there and walked away with Dalton. I thought after our collaboration went so well, Marina would stop trying to mess with me with what I had. But nope, she was still the same. I was hesitant, but in the end, I agreed to go out to dinner with Dalton. After that, our dates became more frequent, and it was clear he wanted to get back together. One night, Dalton and I had a meeting with a potential partner. Before leaving the house, Marina didn't forget to warn me. Be careful with everything he does, Sophie. I'm serious. I pretended not to care about Marina's words, but inside, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. Dalton told me to bring the USB with our new collection designs and promised that his partner would promote the collection globally. But when I arrived at the restaurant, it was just Dalton sitting there, with a table set up like it was Valentine's Day. More importantly, I overheard a suspicious phone call.
Don't worry, babe. This design is top-notch. Once I get it, we'll find a way to kick her off the project.
Marina was right! Dalton was a jerk! I tried to keep my emotions in check and walked over to him. Dalton made an excuse that the partner had car trouble and would be late. The whole thing smelled like lies. Fine, I'd play along with his little act. Dalton ordered some strong wine and fancy dishes and started reminiscing about our high school romance. Gross! I knew my limit, so I only drank the first glass. For the rest, I used a technique to secretly pour it under the table, letting it soak into my skirt so Dalton wouldn't notice, and also pretended to be drunk. After a few glasses, I was horrified to see Dalton putting something in my drink before placing it in front of me. It was getting bad. I discreetly pulled out my phone to call for help. Marina was the only person I could think of. When Marina picked up the phone, I placed it on the chair and deliberately said the restaurant address loudly in a drunken tone to avoid suspicion. Dalton was eyeing the USB with the designs on the seat next to me. Dream on! I pretended to pass out on the chair, covering the bag with the designs, and kicked my legs at him. Dalton started losing his patience. Just as he was getting close to me, "Take this, jerk!" A shoe flew and hit Dalton right in the face. Marina had arrived. I immediately snapped out of my act and kicked him where it hurts, making Dalton collapse. The show was over. Marina then revealed the truth about what happened back in high school. She had discovered that Dalton was dating multiple girls at the same time and decided to use herself as an example to open my eyes. Afterward, Dalton got vengeful and used his family's influence to force Marina out of school. He even threatened her family if she didn't keep quiet. That's why Marina had to work as a maid to support herself, and I had no idea. Marina confessed that she'd always had trouble making friends due to her distant nature. She'd always wanted to be friends with me, but didn't know how to respond, since no one had ever reached out to her like that before. I'm sorry for everything I've done, Sophie. I'm sorry too for not listening to you, Marina. It's okay. Anyway, congrats on getting rid of that jerk. Thanks to you, Marina. Really, I mean it. I wasn't here to save you. I just wanted to protect the designs. By the way, did you freak out so much that you peed your skirt? What? No, let me explain. You see, sometimes giving your enemies a chance isn't such a bad idea. Who knows? At the end of the road, we might find a beautiful friendship waiting for us.